Hi, this is Steve at Hilltops IT and ConnectIt Software. In this video, I'd like to get into some of the detail of one of the new features of QuoteWerks Web, the API, and specifically this HTTP requests function that is available to it. Now, the theory of this is all very good. We can call out to an external API to perform functions, to return stuff, anything that an API would do. There is a little example here which isn't too informative in terms of what might be possible. There is a bigger example towards the bottom. This script here, which is integrating with Frankfurter.app to get currencies, to get exchange rates. I've seen this in the demo and it looks fantastic, but you know, it's one of those, is this smoke and mirrors? How much is it smoke and mirrors? You know, this clean, sterile environment that QuoteWerks have got, you know, am I going to be able to replicate this outside of QuoteWerks without too much pain? There was a little bit of pain, I must admit, but I have got this HTTP requests function working. This is just a demo of what it could do and where I can see this going. We'll get into the code in a little while. For those of you that are less technical and just want to see the big bang, we've got this script here which I'm going to hit the run button to now. And quicker than I expected, actually. That's come back with a API response of success, and what that's telling me is that it successfully ran the MSBC, Microsoft Business Central integration, create sales order processing using the parameter A01234, the QuoteWerks document number. Why I'm excited about this is the kind of potential future of ConnectIt Software when we're integrating with applications, with software that is predominantly online. Looking at what we've done in the past, that would include the likes of ConnectIt Avalara that talks to Avalara Avatax, ConnectIt Sage 1, Sage 50, 100, 200, they're less applicable. They're desktop-based applications, so they're always going to need that desktop. But for a lot of these other ones and some of the custom solutions that we've built, courier integration, Microsoft Business Central, mentioned that one, Microsoft CRM, T-Cards Online, Unleashed, ServiceNow, ClickUp, Monday.com. There's a whole range of solutions that we've integrated with in terms of QuoteWerks Desktop. What this now offers us, what this QuoteWerks Web offers us the opportunity to be able to do, is replicate those solutions within QuoteWerks Web. We're not going to have that, oh, we can't do it because you're using QuoteWerks Web anymore, or less so anyway. I'm sure we will find limitations with it, but the first investigation that I've done is really very good. To get into this script, again at the high level, I will go back and take you through the journey of how we got here. Hopefully that'll be useful to some of the developers that are watching this, some of the nerds that like to build integrations like myself. Whether that's for your own in-house or whether you're creating products like we do for QuoteWerks and for QuoteWerks Web. This is the function down here. In preparation for that, we're giving the web service call a URL to hit, which is this ngrok3.app. And it's hitting the task manager create option. We've also got update, we've got delete. The header it requires is a API key, an XAPI key, which is just set as my secret API key, very, very thoroughly secret. And the content type we're passing is JSON. This is preparing the JSON object. It's taking parameters of integration type, object and parameters. And this is where we call the function, the HTTP request. So we want a post method and we're passing in all those details that we defined above. Once we get a response, if the response is not an error, then it's going to display the status and the message. Those are the two attributes that the response passes back. And there's some stuff down here for error handling, which believe me, came in useful. So again, just to demonstrate that, this is talking from QuoteWerks Web. It's going from QuoteWerks Web through ngrok, and I'll get to why we do that in a moment. And it's talking to the web service that we are running, that I am running on my desktop here. There it is, for what it's worth, just sitting there waiting for somebody to talk to it. Okay, so the journey to get here. With any web service that you might create, I created mine in Visual Studio, .NET Visual Studio. That's where I'm happy. That's where most of the code that we write is authored. Written myself a web service, very basic web service. As I mentioned, it just passes back a status and a message. We're not actually doing anything right now. We didn't really create that sales order in MSBC just yet. Let me work on that. We're just passing back just to try out in principle how this works. So once we've developed that, we're running it, just running as a console app. And from a kind of developer testing point of view, it's very easy to test that using your local host. 5292 is the port that it's running on. If I send that, then we get that very similar message to the one that we passed out. As you can see, passing in the body, which is that JSON that I mentioned before. Headers, we've got the content type, XAPI key, and returning, as you can see, status and message in JSON. Now when that comes to calling it from a website, an external website, obviously QuoteWerks Web is running, where is QuoteWerks Web running? Yeah, on a server, NA server somewhere in North America. That isn't going to be able to talk to the local host. Local host would be its own server, so that isn't going to work. So in order to publish this in the absence of pushing it to our web server, which I'll get to at some point, but that isn't particularly convenient for debugging, we use this thing called ngrok. Now ngrok's a free application. It allows us to make our local host something that is available as an external website. So QuoteWerks is seeing our web service through the ngrok service. So when I hit send, it's going to bring back that expected value. If I switch ngrok off, which I think I can do by creating Control C, there we go. So that's disabled that kind of tunneling service, if you like. So our local web service is no longer available on the internet. So if I send that now, yeah, it's just going to not be very happy about it. Endpoint blah 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 is offline. So let's restart ngrok, which I do by running the ngrok executable. Open up port HTTP 5292, hit return, and that is probably going to, yes it has. It changes this prefix. The suffix happens to be my IP address. This prefix to that does change. That's because it's the free version. You can get paid for versions with umpteen different benefits to that, including having a fixed domain. For what I need it for now, I'm just happy to to use the free version and just have to change my prefix every once in a while. So let's send that. And did I type that on incorrectly? Yeah, I did. 1003. Let's try that again. Okay, and we're back to returning that the success message. Like I say, ngrok is the facility for making your local web service, that thing running on local host, giving that visibility from an external API. Moving on to how we worked with QuoteWerks Web. I did initially use the AI assistant, which did so much for me. It was pretty good. It didn't quite get me all the way that I wanted to be. But let's have a look at the call that I put in. I'm just going to change that web service address. So yeah, I have a web service at blah 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 that requires authentication through a header key X API key and a JSON body pass with parameters, integration type, object parameters. The request type should be post. The web service returns JSON with keys status and message. Can you write some JavaScript to call this web service and prompt the user with the response? Please include error handling if the resolve API call fails. Okay, so let's put that into AI Assistant. And let's hide that just so we've got maximum space to read that. So it's done a lot of the hard work. It's created the options with the URL and the API key in the header. You'll notice it's a slightly different format to what I had. It's created this data with the JSON for the web service, and it's created some error handling for us. Now I'm going to run this first off. Yeah, unexpected error occurred. Not entirely the most useful error message, but we can get into the Chrome developer tools to kind of work out what that was a little bit better. Let's clear that. Just bear with me. Chrome's on a bit of a go slow at the moment. There we go, let's clear the console. And let's restart that. Let's try that again. Okay, let's clear the console and yeah, let's hit play again. Okay, so it's telling me it's forbidden. Now I know from writing my web service that means it's not quite detecting the API key as I might have liked. This options section just isn't working for me. In debugging this, also this data, it didn't understand, the web service didn't understand how that was being put together. What I found was I had to replace it with some slightly different but also very similar code. In fact, I'm just going to copy this whole thing just for simplicity. I did at the end here put in some, in fact let's put that in and see what that does. This is just some hopefully slightly more informative error messaging. It's going to bring out the cores as well as the stack for us. So hopefully that will give us more information rather than what it's doing here, which is just giving us the error message. Okay, let's save that. Let's run that. Yeah, it's giving me more information, but not as much detail as perhaps I might like. That 403 from the Chrome debugging tool was much more informative. And let's go back to that and let's grab everything. So yeah, it was this catch error that I changed, and also these how it's been how the parameters are being kind of defined before calling the actual function. So let's Control A that, Control V that, and we are back to something that doesn't work anymore. That's because that's changed. Okay, we're back to our success message. Other things to show you, just kind of FYI. I'm just going to invalidate that API key. Again, we get our error message, but it's just not clear on what the problem is. We need to go into those developer tools to see that we've got that 403 error. Chrome's on a bit of a go slow again. Did it come back to life yet? No, not quite. Anyway. Okay, so Chrome's come back to me. I just wanted to, again, just show you that it isn't enough to rely on what QuoteWerks Web AI is telling us. We also need to debug things in Google Chrome. That forbidden message, if I invalidate the API key, or another example is if I don't pass in all these parameters, then we're going to get a bad request because that's incomplete. So you need a combination of understanding the web service that you've built and the Google Chrome browser to be able to work these things out. But yeah, very excited about this. As I said from the off, this is potentially very exciting for the direction of ConnectIt Software development. If you'd like to know more, if you'd like to talk to us more about integrating Microsoft Business Central, Monday, Unleashed, any web-based application that you use, then I'd be very interested in talking to you. This is just a trial, this is just a demo of what the capabilities are, but those capabilities are very promising. I can see us at some point having out-of-the-box versions of, for example, I know I keep mentioning it, Microsoft Business Central, but it's one of the more popular ones that we're doing at the moment. But I can see us very soon having a kind of out-the-box version, non-customised, where it's sending a standard sort of set of fields to a standard set of fields in on the sales order, the purchase order, the whatever, as well as custom solutions. But I think the architecture I've started building that I've got in place for this ConnectIt Software API is going to be a very interesting journey. If you'd like to know more, like I say, get in touch and be very happy to talk to you. Numbers on the screen. You can also message us. You can contact us. leave a message. You can even WhatsApp me, or we've got Talk To here as well. You can have an online chat with me. Look forward to hearing from you, and really looking forward to the next chapter of QuoteWerks Web and ConnectIt Software.